Attention please. The date today is December 2nd, 2013. The time is 5:30 p.m. This is the meeting of the Paris City Council and I'm going to call the meeting to order. We will have the invocation by Reverend Price, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Dr. Grossnickel. If I can ask everyone to please stand.
Good evening, everyone. Before I get started, I want to let you know that if you knew him, Paul Derringer passed away this morning. If you didn't know him, he was a godly man. So please keep him and your family in prayer. Bow your heads in prayer, please. Our Heavenly Gracious Father, we thank you for all the blessings you place in our life. We're asking that you come to this city council meeting and that you just give them decision-making power. Father, walk among us, with us, be here with us in all things. We ask these things, Father, that you just bless everyone here, and they're going and they're coming and in and out. Father, we thank you for all the blessings you give us in the name of your Holy Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Citizens Forum has 3 items on today. The first one, persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes unless an item is posted on the agenda. The Texas Open Meeting Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council members, or employees, as well as individual personnel appeals, are not appropriate for the Citizens Forum. The Citizens Forum is now open. If you desire to speak, please come in to the podium, write your name and address for the record. If you want, we can pull some more chairs out of the other room and let people sit down against the wall. There are some chairs which can be brought out from the other room. Give us just a second and then you can start. And there's still some empty chairs up front if somebody wants to come and sit here. Go ahead, please.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, my name is Christy Foster, recent graduate of Christian Women's Job Corps and current resident of the New Hope Center, Paris. I have a proposal which I wish to bring to y'all. I know that there are a lot of empty lots around Paris, and I and a few of my constituents have an idea of turning some of these empty lots into community gardens to help those who are short, like on food stamps and whatnot. They can come and grow their own vegetables and learn responsibility for themselves. This town was founded on farming cotton, so the soil here is perfect for growing things. So we would like to take some of these lots. We would like to show that we are able to make this a viable idea throughout the entire community, not just in certain sections, but all over Paris, to make it more beautiful and be more self-sustaining.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you can get in touch with Mr. Godwin, and then either we can put it on the agenda to discuss and go further from it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Carrie Daniel. I'm with the Paris Downtown Association, and I'm just here to personally invite all of you on behalf of PDA to our Christmas parade this weekend. It is a rocking Christmas is our theme. Parade starts at 6 o'clock. It'll take its normal route downtown as long as the weather holds out. Right now, we're still planning to go forward. And Mr. Henry from Henry Printing, I'm sure a lot of you know Mr. Henry. He is going to be our Grand Marshal this year. And so I just wanted to come and invite you guys. I hope you can all attend.
Thank you very much. Whoever is addressing, please make sure that you state your and write your address.
Hello, my name is Sherry Bedford. I'm the Main Street Coordinator for the City of Paris, and I want to invite everybody to several holiday events that we're having during the season. Today is December 2nd. That really kind of kicked off the season. And if you want to know what's going on in town, you can look at our website, holidayinparistexas.com, and there's a full schedule of events. Carrie mentioned the parade that's going to happen this weekend. Every weekend is packed with several events. The weekend of December the 14th in particular, we're having Wassail Fest in downtown. If you're unsure what wassail is, you should Google it. It's interesting drink, and there'll be an opportunity to visit our downtown shops and be eligible for several prizes. And we have another parade that's coming also on the 14th of December. It is the dog parade, Santa Paws for a Cause. And I just want you to know that you can enter a float in the parade, or you can just come and spectate at the parade. It doesn't cost anything to be a spectator, but we're guaranteeing a howling good time.
Anyone else wanting to address? Ms. Christian, do you have some papers? You want to say something? No? Okay. If nobody else wants to address, the Citizens Forum is now closed. Next, we'll go to the second item, which is 4B, which is proclamation declaring December 7th as the National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. Whereas on Sunday, December 7, 1941, the Imperial Japanese launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor in an attempt to break the American will and destroy our Pacific Fleet. The attack left over 3,500 Americans killed or wounded and was the beginning of World War II. And our service members valiantly answered the call by defending their positions, fighting back against our attackers, and caring for our wounded. The sacrifice made by members of our armed forces and civilians to protect America and its people will never be forgotten. President Franklin D. Roosevelt declared December 7, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. In his official speech on December 8, 1941, he included, "No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory, and with confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph. So help us God." And on August 23, 1994, Congress, by Public Law 103-308, designated December 7 of each year as National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, authorizing and requesting the President to issue annually a proclamation calling on the people of the United States to observe the date with appropriate ceremonies and activities to urge all federal agencies and interested organizations, groups, and individuals to fly the flag at half-staff each December 7 in honor of the individuals who died as a result of their services at Pearl Harbor. And whereas commemoration of the attack on Pearl Harbor will instill in all our people of the United States a great understanding and appreciation of the selfless sacrifice of the individuals who served in the armed forces of the United States during the World War II. Now, therefore, I, A.J. Hashmi, Mayor of the City of Paris, Texas, do hereby proclaim December 7, 2013 as the National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. Further, it be known that the citizens of Paris, Texas, remember with eternal respect those who were injured or killed on December 7, 1941 at Pearl Harbor, in witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and seal this 7th day of December, the 2nd day of December 2013. If Mr. Mackey can please come up and receive this.
Just one quick word. I'm Bud Mackey, the commander of the local VFW Post 3990. We will be doing a flag ceremony in observance of Pearl Harbor Day at 8 a.m. at the fairgrounds right by the old Coliseum there. And you're all invited to come join us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mackey. Item 4C on the agenda is a mayor's report on trip speaking on engagement in Singapore. I'm going to try to make it as brief as I can. I had a great trip to Singapore. It was a very interesting city to see, and I met a good number of people in Singapore. I got a chance to meet the president and their prime minister, and was introduced. The city of Paris was introduced to them, the mayor was introduced to them, so it was quite an experience. It was also very interesting to meet a whole bunch of people who actually are world leaders and who formulate finance and defense and foreign policies, and what their thought processes was quite an experience. There were a few things which were quite interesting that I found in Singapore. One of them was how clean the city was, meticulously clean. But I'm very happy to be back in Paris because it looked kind of a made-up city. There was attractiveness in cleanliness, but the thing about it, it was too clean. One really never appreciates the cleanliness unless you have a little dirt here and there, and that was non-existent there. So I was very, very happy about that, to come back to see that, we are still normal people. The other thing which I found very interesting was that, there are punishments for everything. If you spill something, there is a punishment. If you throw something, there is punishment. And though it keeps the city clean, but I'm much more happier in a free society where it is not so dictatorial that you make a mistake and you're punished every time you turn around. So I think we should all be very thankful that we live in America. There are beautiful places outside America, but no question we have a beautiful city. So I had a great time, but I'm happy to be back. With that said, there were a few other things which were learning experiences for me, and again, some of you may very well know about it, but I, as a physician, certainly did not know much about how GDP works, what GNP is, and how countries cut down and curtail on the rise in inflation, how the Federal Reserve works. And so it was quite an experience to learn a lot of economics, which normally I would not have had a chance to learn about. The other thing which I found most interesting was the fact that when recession or depression starts to come, how the federal government handles in different parts of the world. And it's interesting to know that they invest in infrastructure, which is interesting that we are doing that in our town, but the thing about it, they spend money, the government spends money in development of infrastructure, with the result that the inflation rate goes down, the unemployment rate goes down, and economies start to recover. So there were some interesting points that I noted, but it was a lot of good learning experience, and I've written a little bit about GDP and GNP and those things, which I'll give it to the paper or Mr. Charles, whoever wants it, just as a learning experience, because I thought it was great. So with that said, that was my little trip to Singapore. I enjoyed it, and I'm happy to be back. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Anyone has any questions on the consent agenda? No questions? Can I have a motion on this item then?
I make a motion we accept the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Consent agenda is done. Appointments will go along with this consent agenda, right? So we don't have to go over each one of them. Okay. Next item is the regular agenda. The item number 8 is presentation of awards to fire and police department employees. So the first one that I will start with is the Paris Police Department, and this award is a Lifesaver Award for Tony Foreman. On October 22, 2013, dispatcher Tony Foreman, going above and beyond the regular performance of his duties, provided for the safety and rescue of an individual from a structure fire, thereby preserving that person's life. In recognition of his services that day, the Paris Police Department and the City of Paris hereby present him with this Lifesaver Award. So I'd ask Tony to please come forward. Mr. Hundley, you want to say a few words too?
Mr. Mayor and Council, the whole emergency services of Paris has the middle of a spoke of a wheel, if you would, and that's dispatch. When these people take these calls for service, if they don't get it right, it's going to cause more problems when the emergency crews arrive, whether it be fire, police, or EMS. Tony has been with us for 17 years, 18 years. And is one of our veteran dispatchers. He's always been excellent in dispatch. And until you have somebody on the other end of the phone who's in dire straits and the stress that comes about for somebody to take care of it the way Tony did that day, it's a truly amazing feat. I'm very proud of him, proud of what the police department does in our dispatch center for all emergency services, because it's very much a team approach. Thank you very much.
Next, I'd ask Mr. Wright to please come up and speak.
Mayor, Council, on October the 22nd, the Paris Fire Department was dispatched to a structure fire on Northeast 6th Street a few minutes after noon. While en route to the address, Paris Dispatch informed the responding crews that flames were trapping an occupant inside the house. Engine 1, Rescue 1, and the Deputy Chief arrived at the resident in less than 2 minutes from the time they were dispatched. There was visible smoke coming from the roof and windows. Upon their arrival, Paris Dispatch relayed information to the fire crews from Ms. Letitia Cole on her approximate location inside the residence to aid in her rescue. Captain James Doherty and firefighter Heath Humphrey immediately deployed an inch and 3/4 hose line and entered the residence, extinguishing flames as they made their way to the reported location of Ms. Cole. While this action was taking place, firefighter Trey Unruh was breaching the exterior door to the attached bedroom where Ms. Cole was reported to be located. Captain Doherty and firefighter Humphrey quickly located the unconscious Ms. Cole and moved her to the doorway that firefighter Unruh was opening. It should be noted that the doorway was blocked with a dresser and television and other furniture, making this a more difficult task, especially with zero visibility in the house. However, less than 5 minutes upon arrival on the scene, Captain Doherty and firefighter Humphrey had Ms. Cole to the doorway, where other responders helped move her away from the burning structure. At least 2 more firefighters and 2 police officers and EMS personnel assisted in moving her to the EMS cot and into the medic unit for treatment. And emergency room, she was taken to the local emergency room. All aspects of the Paris Emergency Services worked together to provide a positive outcome for this incident. As a result of these actions by Captain Doherty and firefighters Humphrey and Unruh, I'm presenting them the Distinguished Service Medal and Mayor, I ask you to come down and present them for me. Captain Doherty, firefighter Unruh, firefighter Humphrey, would y'all come up here, please? To the other fire personnel who were on the scene and assisted in the rescue efforts, they're being awarded a unit citation award. These personnel are Deputy Chief Jerry Horton, Driver Engineer Danny Jennings, Captain Billy McDowell, Captain Kevin Wood, Driver Engineer Sean Lyle, Firefighter Cody Walters, Firefighter Darren Lane, Captain Randy Showers, Driver Engineer Drew Bourne, Firefighter Justin Hicks, and Firefighter Brian Whitaker. So they'll all receive a unit citation award. Thank you, Mayor. One more.
Congratulations and thank you for the good work that you do. Any of the council members want to make any comments?
It just makes me proud that I live in Paris, Texas, and it makes me choke up to think of what these young men and women from the police department, the fire department, and EMS do every day to make sure that we're safe. And I cannot say thank you enough.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Thank you for what you do.
We're very proud of you.
All right. Item number 9 is discuss and conduct a public hearing, act on an ordinance adopting a parks master plan for the city of Paris. Mr. Efrasi.
Thank you very much. Happy holidays to all of the council.
And everybody else.
And everybody else. I wasn't done yet. Okay, thank you. We're here tonight to address the first new Parks Master Plan in 17 years. The last one was done in 1996. We had an update in 2001. And as stated in the Park Plan document, it's part of the long-range physical development of the city of Paris. The council, during the springtime of this year, established a Citizens Advisory Committee composed of citizens whose primary job was to guide and direct in support of the professional recommendations of MHS, our consultants. Mark Spencer and particularly Hunter Rush served in that professional capacity. We had a series of public meetings, intensive written surveys submitted to the staff, professional staff of the city worked, Bill Laranger and Sally Wright. I served as the project manager for that project. Last time we met was a discussion session on November the 11th. At that time, it was unanimously stated by the council that they felt the park plan was an excellent document and that it would provide an important benefit for the city of Paris, and all those who were involved with it agree as well. As you recall, also at that meeting there was discussion about several items, one of which of course included the potential for a proposed indoor recreational facility. You know that's an item following on our agenda. Staff would recommend that any discussion or recommendations regarding that project be included as part of this public hearing. The purpose of the plan, among them, includes priorities for park recommendations, recommendations over a 10-year period, potential funding resources, fundamentally recommendations and requests, wishes and desires of the citizens of Paris as reflected through the many meetings, priority projections, and several others as stated in the document. The purpose of tonight's meeting fundamentally is to conduct a public hearing, and the staff recommends approval of the document that we submitted to you. It was dated November the 1st. November 11th, we had a discussion, and this evening, just to bring everyone up to date, we submitted what we received on the very day of the 11th. While we gave it to you, we wanted to give it to you again, a minor modification, and this afternoon our consultants had a minor modification as reflected in the text and in the graphic for this evening. We are requesting, therefore, that you approve the Master Park Recreation Open Space Plan for 2013 to 2023 with the inclusions that I submitted this evening. Be pleased to answer any questions you might have.
Any of the council members have any questions? Okay. I declare the public hearing open. If there's anyone wishing to speak in support of this item, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. If there's no one wanting to speak for, if there's anyone wishing to speak in opposition of this item, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. And if there's nobody wanting to do that, I declare the public hearing closed. I need a motion on this item.
I make a motion that we adopt the Paris Parks Master Plan for the City of Paris with the changes that Mr. Efrusy has mentioned that were made, I believe, in these documents that were handed out earlier in this meeting.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No, the motion carries. Item number 10 is discuss and possibly act on an indoor recreation center plan. I believe Mr. Wright requested this item to be placed on the agenda. So, Mr. Wright, would you please explain?
Because of the widespread interest in a rec center, and I know that we don't have the money to build something very elaborate, but it was suggested to me by somebody that made pretty good sense that what about using the civic center as a rec center also and have it for a utility building. It's something that we could do with not nearly as much expenditure, and it's something that I think we could move into, and our children would get the benefit right away.
So if my understanding is right, you're saying in addition to it being the civic center, that it is part of it be used for a rec center, or at various times it's a rec center and at various times it's used as a civic center?
It made sense to me.
Okay. And let me ask you a couple of questions, if you will. There won't be any problems with the rec centers, whatever, if there was something passed or people who donated money into it? That should not be an issue with it?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't think the city has any outstanding debt on the rec center.
Okay. All right.
I think we acquired the property from Paris Junior College years ago, and I'm not aware of any specific restrictions.
Okay. So we would not be out of compliance if we were to use it?
Now, we can look into that further, but I'm not aware of any.
Okay.
Right now.
All right. Let's start with Ms. Drake. Ms. Drake, you have any questions?
Not right now. I'm sure I'll probably think of a bunch
Okay.
Later, but this was all new, so I'd have to digest it and sort of see. And like I said, double checking to make sure things can be done without any problem.
Mr. Frierson?
Yeah, I guess, excuse me, as far as the overall idea of an indoor rec center goes, I mean, I think we all realize that there's probably a desire and a particular need for it in the community, and I think all avenues should be explored, including a potential civic center idea. My questions about that, and quite honestly, I just don't know the answers, is how is the civic center tied into the Chamber of Commerce, and what ownership or lack thereof do we or do we not have over the civic center?
I think the others can answer it better, but for the little knowledge that I have, I think the Civic Center property is owned by the city of Paris, but I think it's leased out to the visitors and
Okay, but they have their own board and,
Yeah, they have their own board, but I think the property is still owned by the city. So if at some point, I'm not saying do it
Right.
right now, and I'm not saying it should be done or
Right.
not done, but I think since the city owns the property, I would think that one has the right to, you can even keep the same board and have something else implanted in it like your suggestion is.
well, I mean, I think.
Again, I think thought needs to be given to it and looked
from-
at.
From a
But
feasibility
again,
standpoint,
I think
that's
there is-
fine.
I think the city owns the property, if I'm not mistaken, so
Right.
one would have, it's just leased out to the chamber for,
Right. Well, I mean, like I said,
Yeah.
as far as exploring every avenue, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
And the feasibility of it, no problem with that. Just making sure that we're all on the same page as far as dotting the i's and crossing the t's on
Yeah.
where everything actually sits. But I mean, overall, things that should be considered as far as where it goes, location-wise. I think we have an issue there. If you put it at the Civic Center, the traffic flow and the access to that, that's a pro and a con, I would imagine, as far as access for youth and things like that. But it would be certainly an interesting idea to see more concrete what the possibilities actually are.
Dr. Grossnickel?
Yeah, I think it's worth exploring that as an option. Do have some concerns about how that building might adapt to an athletic use, whether there could be showers or anything, because athletes do want to shower off sometimes after a heavy game of basketball. And I presume there'd be, the need maybe for a gym floor as opposed to the existing floor. And so there's just some issues, but it is worth considering. And I still think we should, strongly explore the fundraising possibilities of a dedicated new rec center. That's all.
Ms. Lancaster?
I think it's definitely worth looking into. There's a lot of our sports buildings in that area, and a lot of sports going on. It seems likely a good spot. Whether or not the building can be adapted we'd have to look into it.
Mr. Jenkins?
I think it'd be a wonderful idea, especially for the kids. And also, I think people could use this every day. Something we can use every day, and I don't know how we're going to get it done, but if we do, I don't want to do it halfway. I'd just go all the way with it, because I think Paris would really do good with it.
Mr. Wright?
I think we'd be remiss not to explore the possibilities that exist out there. And I know that building is something very elaborate. It's out of the question right now without a bond issue. And that might not be a popular subject right now.
I also agree with the fact that I think it's a great idea if it is doable. Again, I think one has to look at it more closely and see feasibility-wise whether it's feasible or not feasible. I think people who work there, we need to get their opinion, and we need to see the logistics of it. And I'm sure there will be some expense still required, because I think while you're doing it, you might have to extend some and make an indoor pool or something. I'm not sure. But I think it's certainly a possibility, and I think it's a good thought. And I think if I have the council's permission, it'll ask the city manager to look into it and bring some sort of a feasibility or ideas or some brainstorming thing back to the council as to what can be done. But I think falling short of building a new center, which is going to be hard, which I agree with everybody who said the same thing essentially, I think it's a novel idea, and it's definitely worth looking at. So, with your permission, if we can look into it and see if it's a doable thing or not. Yeah, and bring it back to the council. Next is item number 11. The only one question that I have on item number 11, is there any, Mr. Hundy, you have a presentation. Can this be discussed openly? Is there anything?
There's some things I can't discuss, yes, sir.
Okay. Well, present whatever you can discuss then. Okay. And the item is receive update from Chief Hundley on the ongoing murder investigation. This is with reference to the 4 people who had died recently.
Okay. Mr. Mayor and Council, on October 9th, the Paris Police Department responded to the murder of 4 of our citizens, Romello Dwayne Stewart, Devontae LaRae Akins, Brajan Rashad Woods, and Billy Charles Carey. In recent memory, this is about the most heinous act I can think of that the police department's been involved in. Our criminal investigation division that night with 10 detectives worked pretty much throughout that night into the next day, in fact, into the next several days on the investigation. We requested and received the Texas Ranger, Stacy McNeil, and state resources to be brought into the investigation from the onset. And since that time, all of the investigators in CID, along with officers on the street, have been involved in running down any lead or any information that has come to light. Along with state agencies, I feel easy to tell you that also several federal law enforcement agencies have been involved in the investigation. We continue to receive information from our community, and as that information comes to light, we chase that lead down, we investigate it. Any other comment from me regarding what we have investigated or have not investigated or where we are in the investigation would only lead to speculation, innuendo, and quite possibly the misidentification of someone who is not involved in the incident, thereby causing that person undue public scrutiny. Any identification of a possible suspect who is involved can certainly compromise the prosecution or endanger any potential witness given the nature of this particular crime. I'm confident in our investigators' ability to find out who is responsible, and I'm reminded of the prosecutor and his wife that were killed in Kaufman, where there was all kinds of rumors and innuendo. It was gangs, it was the Aryan Brotherhood, it was this, it was that. And after pretty much dogged determination of those investigators involved in that very complex case, that led to an arrest and subsequent prosecution of those actually responsible for those killings. I want to make sure that our citizens and the council know that we are actively working this investigation. We'll continue to do so until anyone involved in this heinous act is brought to justice. We continue to ask that anybody with information involved in these murders to contact the police department or Lamar County Crime Stoppers. That's my statement.
Thank you. Mr. Wright, any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any of the other council members have any questions right now?
Just appreciate your hard
All
work.
right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hundley. My God, it's only 35 minutes and we are more than halfway done. Should we slow it down? Mr. Richards still awake? Item number 12 is discuss and approve lease agreement with Maxey Rifleman Gun Club for property located at Lake Crook to use as a gun range. At the City Council meeting of October 28, Maxey Gun Club requested a 5-year extension of their current lease agreement, at which time they were asked if they could bring us a 5-year plan, and the plan was included in our packets. Mr. Osborne from Maxey Gun Club is here tonight to answer any questions. I have read all of your 5-year plan, and I do have some suggestions. So if you want to start, then I can give you some of my comments, and then we'll take comments from the rest of the council.
To start off with, we are a self-funded club, and page 32 of the new Master Parks Plan, where you're talking about partnerships with private organizations, that's one of the things that we're extending to the city, is that we're not something that's going to cost money. Cost the city money. In part of the 5-year plan, when we start talking about running water out there and stuff like that, we'll be reaching out for help maybe at that time. But as far as all the yearly activities, which is the range improvements, which since 1982 we've been improving that place every year, we're able to do that. We also support youth shooting activities, 4-H, Boy Scouts, that sort of thing. And so as part of the recreation master plan, I think we fit in very well, and we're not something that you have to worry about trying to fund at this time, and for the foreseeable future. Our 5-year plan and beyond is we're able to fund all of that, like I said, and when we start talking about water and things like that, we may be coming to the city to see what's available and all that. But other than that, it's kind of a win-win, and I'm ready to answer any questions anybody has.
Thank you. I've looked at your 5-year plan, and I have some comments that I want to make. Particularly if you go down to year 2017 and 18, there are places such as range improvement you've written down to rebuild berm, build curb along the parking areas, re-gravel all parking areas. And what I wanted to find out from the city manager was, just like we had done at the trail, that the parking lot needed new gravel, and we had some extra gravel at the airport. And Mr. Napier would know that if it doesn't cost the city a whole lot of money, why can't we help them and use that gravel and redo their gravel and assist them so that some of the things which are in their 5-year plan can be brought up to sooner rather than later, and that will avoid you spending money on it. And if it doesn't cost the city a whole lot of money, I mean, if we can look.
We're not in need of any of that right now, and those are periodic upgrades that we do constantly. Rebuilding the berms, that's something we do typically every 2 years. Graveling as it's required, and we've got some minor gravel resurfacing that we're going to be doing this year in some new areas.
And we have things available, I think, so instead of you spending money on it, save money to do some other improvements to it. And if it doesn't cost the city, that would be my suggestion. Use the thing that we have, because the gravel that we had was quite good, I think, and the parking lot at the looks quite significantly better.
Well, we certainly appreciate the offer. One of the things that we've prided ourselves on is that we didn't want to cost the city any money, that we're able to be self-funded. Not turning down your offer. We'll talk when the time comes, because it's...
and so if we can, maybe you can communicate with them and see if we can. The other thing that I wanted to ask you was that with the target shooting, there were some movable targets written over here somewhere. How much does it actually cost to put them?
Oh, it depends on how exotic you want to get. A lot of the
general
targets,
price range?
Oh, they can be up to thousands of dollars each. But that's the kind of target shooting that we're doing right now. We have the equipment that's necessary for what we do, and to support the youth shooting efforts.
Okay. All right. And is there anything in particular that, I mean, I'm all for signing this lease personally, but is there anything in particular that you think the city can help you out to speed up this process of improvement there?
Well, I think we may be talking about two different things. The range, as it is right now, is one of the best ranges between Dallas and All Points East. Okay. We have people that come in from several states to shoot at our target matches, particularly one called IDPA. It's a pistol match, first Sunday of every month. The 5-year plan, yes, there are improvements like bringing water, electricity, that sort of thing out there. But the 5-year plan is to keep what we have, and then there's some drainage improvements that are in there and that sort of thing to make what we have better. But we're not in dire need of anything at this point. Okay. We have people that come from a long way because it's a bargain dollar-wise, and it's an excellent shooting facility. It's separate facilities for pistol and rifle. I was out there with my son and daughter this past weekend, and there were probably 30 different groups out there enjoying the range and enjoying the day. It's well used.
All right. Ms. Drake?
No, sir.
Mr. Frierson?
No questions. Thank you for what you do.
Dr. Grossnickel?
Do you fund your club with dues or
Yes.
daily use fees? Or
It's
how does
an
that-
annual dues.
Annual dues? And the out-of-town guests, do they pay? Or
When if somebody from out of town comes to shoot in one of our matches, they'll pay the same entry fee that anybody else pays.
Okay. Yep. Good.
Ms. Lancaster?
No questions.
Mr. Jenkins?
No, sir, I have no questions.
Mr. Wright?
No.
Okay. I'll ask the city manager, how far is the water in? Is it Lamar County water that will have to go there, or city water? Or Mr. Napier? Lamar County. So we really do not have much control over their water supply.
And it's probably on the other side of the road from us, which it always is.
Okay. Do we have water on the other side of the road?
Yeah, Lamar, I
Okay,
think
since Lamar
County.
County does it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, if there's no further questions, do we want to approve this?
Make a motion, we approve the lease agreement with Maxie Gun Club.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No, the motion carries. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
We don't need anything further on this, right? On the gun club thing?
Just their insurance.
Okay, and they'll provide that for you. Okay. All right, item number 13 is discuss and act on professional service contract with AECom to design citywide municipal infrastructure project. Mr. Godwin, you want to say something on this?
Yes, just very briefly. We've met with AECom on a number of occasions, staff as well as a couple of the council members that served on the committee, and we appreciate you participating in that process, Mr. Wright and Ms. Lancaster. The negotiated contract actually breaks up the actual construction process into 5 different pieces, 5 different phases, if you will, A, B, C, D, E. And the first phase would be, in fact, I think it's called a quick start, would be design, is intended to begin almost immediately on design, and then very early in the spring of this coming year, we would begin construction on those projects. By breaking it into 5 different projects, we feel like we'll get more bidders. We feel like it's more manageable as far as inspections, construction oversight, and paperwork, administration, and so forth. It would not prohibit a single vendor from bidding on multiple phases, but the phases would be spread out. They would overlap. This is not meant to be a do one phase and then finish it and then start all over on a whole other phase. They would overlap. The design timelines are fairly tight. In fact, that's one of the big things we talked about was timing. And in fact, all 5 phases are expected to be fully designed within 270 days. So notice to proceed. We hope to issue a notice to proceed this week if the contract is approved and executed this week. And so that would have all design complete by September of 2014. The estimate is that all construction would be complete by July of 2016. So about 2.5 years for construction and 9 months for design. Again, construction would start in the springtime. The total price not to exceed, emphasize not to exceed, is $4.5 million. We hope to do less than that. We have $250,000 in there for reserve, kind of $150,000 in there for city services. A number of and I won't go into a lot of the details, it's a long contract, but a number of the specific tasks that are required of the engineering firm are based on time and materials, which is to say, if they don't do the work, they don't get paid. It's not just a flat fee. It's not you get $4.5 million once you're done. If something doesn't take as long, if something doesn't take as many hours, if something doesn't require as many reports or as many meetings or as much surveying or as many inspections as have been projected, then we don't pay. Some of the things that might be a little bit nebulous too, or there's a few projects we may have to do a little bit more paving than others. Of course, paving is something we don't want to do much of, but we do need to repair the roads as we go. So there's a little bit of unknown in there. And anytime you start digging things up that are buried, you don't know exactly what they look like, how good they are, how bad they are, in some cases even exactly where they are, and what kind of issues you'll have there. So there is additional, those reserves are built in kind of for the unknowns. We do hope to minimize those expenses. I guess I'll just stop there. We do recommend approval of the contract, and we do have representatives from AECom and the other local firms as well here this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Godwin. First of all, I want to thank the city staff, and in particular, I also want to thank the 2 council members who participated in the discussion. So thank you to all of you. I'll start by saying I have a few comments to make, and then we'll have the rest of the council ask any questions. My first comment, and there was a little concern that I had, and that was that there are some penalties written which are not to exceed $25,000. And I had a little bit of a concern as to, at a $4 million contract, whether $25,000 penalty for delays is an acceptable amount. Somehow or the other, I don't think that's an acceptable amount, but I'm willing to forego it in the interest and of time, and also on the fact that if you people have promised that you will do it and on time, and so I'm hoping that it will be done on time, and this will be a moot point whether it's $25,000 or higher. So I'm going to forego what I was going to say on this and say that I'm perfectly fine with that as long as you assure me that you'll be on time with that. Because really the purpose of this penalty is not to harm anyone. The purpose is to make sure that our job gets done in a timely fashion. I do have some other questions, and I'll go page by page. I don't know whether you have the copy of this or not, but if you do, I do have some questions. If you go to page number 69. Yes, please. On page 69, it says item description, contract day, final plans, and specs, 90 days after notice to proceed. Does that mean that 90 days, if we approve it today, it's 90 days from here?
Yes, it'd be calendar days from the notice to proceed that you issue.
Okay, on contract A.
Correct.
And contract, let's say contract E, once you have notice to proceed, are we giving notice to proceed on contract E today, or is it going to be counted from whenever we give it?
When we give it.
Okay.
D and E we will wait on.
Okay, so we want to do A, B, and C today, not D and E?
Well, you're going to approve the entire contract, but we will issue a request, a notice to proceed, hopefully tomorrow, an actual letter, notice to proceed for phases A, B, and C, or contracts A, B, and C.
Okay.
And then D and E we might do next week, we might do next month. It kind of depends on where we are on some of those projects.
Okay.
And the reason for that, not to beat this to death, but especially on phase E or contract E, we want to have enough flexibility that if there's a line extension we want to do, or if there's some water
Other
line
thing that
explodes,
comes up.
which
Yeah.
happens around here a lot, we want to be able to have that kind of flexibility to add it on the list.
Okay, so you're just keeping it as a backup. You don't want to spend money on that quite yet.
Right.
Okay,
right.
that's fine. But whenever you get for E, does it mean from that day it'll be 270 days from then, or will it be counted as the first contract from 90 to 270?
It's 150 or 270, whichever is greater, is the way that's worded.
Okay.
So it would hopefully then be 5 months, 150 days from the notice to proceed. Do I have that correct? That's correct.
Okay, so that is one of the questions that I had. Then the second question that I have is on page number 75. It says the billing rates shown below are valid for 12 months from the execution of this agreement. A 4% maximum increase per calendar year will be in effect for each calendar year thereafter. Does that mean that if we do D and E later on and it comes into next calendar year, which is 2000, well, I take it will not apply to 2014, right? Because or does the 4% increase apply to 2014 because this is 2013?
It doesn't increase the fee. It allows for the rates, and what this allows for is as you review the contract and review the rates and billing rates submitted. Now, this is also for additional services is what it's intended. So this is really a guidance document and provides flexibility for the engineer on the range of billing rates.
Okay. But will it apply, the 4% increase can apply in 2014? Because, I mean, we're really doing the contract.
Technically, yes, but, you know, that's just the way the contract's written. We didn't know when it would start, but it's not a huge issue there at this point. The intent is really when we start seeing those rate increases.
Okay.
And to
now,
protect us.
Just to make clear on that, and I suggest, frankly, that in your motion, if you have one, that you don't let them do that until January 1st of 2015.
Okay.
But just to be clear, what he's saying is additional services, it doesn't affect the base fee. This is if we have to have an extra meeting with him and he's going to charge us $270 an hour because he's a principal.
Okay.
If we don't ever have to meet with him extra beyond what's in the contract, it doesn't come into play.
Yeah.
So the whole thing's not based on these. So
yeah, no, I
it's not a
realize
moving
that,
target.
but I just wanted to be
Yeah,
sure that,
absolutely. And again,
because we are doing it in December and a month later.
I would include in your motion to keep him from doing that.
Okay. Thank you.
Fair enough.
All right, so that was that. Then coming to page number 77. And in this, there is phase 4. Now, does that includes phase 4 of A, B, C, D, and E? Correct? Because you have contracts A, B, C, D, and E, or projects A, B, C, D, and E.
I apologize, I have a different numbering system on my thing here, so I'm
Okay.
assuming you're referring to the scope.
Okay,
of
I'll
area
explain
exhibit
it.
A.
See, on page 69, we have contract A, contract B, contract C, contract D, and contract E. And we are not issuing the NTP for contract D and E right now. On page 77, when you have the consolidated charges over here, it includes construction phase services D and E included in this. If you want to see, you can come and see over here.
Yes, they're telling me yes.
Okay, and that is what my question was, that supposing D and E are not done, these charges will not be there, correct?
On
For whatever
construction-
reasons, let's say that
Yeah.
we do A, B, and C, and for whatever reason D and E are not done.
We only get paid what we earn.
Okay.
And if we've only done a, portion of A, B, and C and a portion of D and E, that, we'd have to prove what we've earned.
Okay, and so those will be adjusted based on whatever has been performed?
Correct. We get paid based upon what we've earned on our earned value system there.
Okay. Now, the next question I have for Mr. Godwin is, if you go to page 78, up to item number 26, is that A, B, C, and D, or A, B, and C, or does A, B, and C go further down?
The A, B, C, D, E will go farther than this.
Okay.
But it hasn't been decided yet.
Okay.
Because it won't be based on, A, won't just be the first 5 or 6, because for the economy of scale, it may be based more on geography than on
Okay.
priority. So A might be number 1, number 6, number 19, number 23.
Okay.
That sort of thing.
Okay. So this color coding has got nothing to do with A, B, C, and D?
Correct,
Okay.
correct. No.
That's what I wanted to be sure, that it doesn't become that we have done contract A and we mean that we have gone from 1 to 7.
Right, right. Yeah, we'll actually, staff and engineer will work together to come up, in fact, they had a meeting this afternoon, I think, with a logical way to group them up. And again, it'll probably be based on geography, west part of town, central part of town, east part of town, that sort of thing. So that they're working in one area at a time, makes it a little easier to not have to move equipment all over the place.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you. I have 2 other people that I want to ask questions. Ms. Lancaster and Mr. Wright, you've been in those meetings and you're perfectly comfortable with this contract?
Yes, pretty.
We beat each other pretty good.
Okay, all right. I don't have any further questions. I do have a question of Mr. Harper. You were part of the negotiations.
Yes, sir.
Did it help, the council people being there, was it helpful at all?
Yes, it did. And I'll tell you why. At first, I was apprehensive that the council members would be there when you have the city engineer and the city manager. But as we started realizing there was a lot of buy-in, you got to get the feel for what the needs of the council were. You got to have the resident expert for engineering who's going to manage the assets. You had the city manager that's going to manage the finances and the needs of the contract. And so there were no questions when we got done of what was expected.
Thank you very much. Ms. Drake, you have any questions?
No, I don't. I feel like if Mr. Wright, Ms. Lancaster, and Mr. Godwin are comfortable with it, we put our trust in them, and so I appreciate the hard work and the many hours that not only these 3, but everybody has put in to it. And if they feel comfortable with it, I don't see any reason why we can't go forward.
Besides the fact that I think they saved about $500,000?
Anything they save,
Mr. Frierson?
Nope.
Dr. Grossnickel?
No, nothing.
Ms. Lancaster?
Nothing further.
Mr. Jenkins?
This is good that they're getting this done for the city, and congratulations on the contract.
Okay. Mr. Wright?
I'm good with it.
Okay. Well, then I'll make a motion on this item to approve with the one exception that items written on page, let me see, 75, instead of to make it clear in that contract that starts, if the 4% agreement increase is to be taken, it should start from 1/1 of 15 and not 1/1/14. With that written, that is my motion to approve.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. The motion carries. All right.
Thank you.
And again, thank you for a great job. Really appreciate it. Item number 14 is discuss amendments to the sign ordinance and provide direction to the city staff. Mr. Napier, will you explain, please?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor and Council. There's been a committee together. Ms. Drake has been served on that committee along with Alex Pickering, who is the owner of SCS Graphics, Kent McIllier, myself, and Joey Sleeper, building official. We've been at this for quite some time now. We've had numerous meetings, and we're trying to revamp the complete sign ordinance as a whole, and we're done pretty well so far. We've cut out a lot. I think we've reduced the size of the ordinance almost by half. Got a lot of clutter out there, try to clarify a lot of areas, and in general, more or less looking at it to keep from having to go back to the Board of Adjustments or to cut people down on sign. We're looking at allowing a little more square footage on signage for anyone in the community looking at putting a sign up. So I think overall, the new part of the sign ordinance, when we bring it back to you in January, will be a great thing. But one of the areas that we're looking for some clarification on that is currently in the ordinance is on billboards. The way the current ordinance is written, it pretty much outlaws any more billboards from being constructed in the city of Paris. I think we went through and looked, and there's a map in your packet, and looking at the allowances that would allow for a maximum of 3 more billboards to be constructed in the city of Paris, all in the Southwest Loop. And for most of you who have seen billboards, our current ordinance would only allow a 288 square feet billboard, which is quite small as far as billboards go. So looking at that, that's brought this back to you tonight to look for a policy decision on, does the council want to continue to allow billboards? Do we want to disallow billboards? Or do we want to try to amend the current ordinance to possibly allow a few more billboards or make some other allowances to that under current billboard standards that are pretty much kind of out there in the public right now that are standards?
Thank you, Mr. Napier. I first want to say one thing. Thank you for the committee that did it. And I also want to emphasize one other fact on this, that at the beginning of this process, I think we invited everyone, and I think it was well publicized that whoever wanted to participate in this committee, they were most welcome. These were not people handpicked by anyone, and so it was open to anyone who could come and address their issues to that committee or be a participant of that committee. So if somebody feels that they were kind of left out, please take that out of the mind, because it was really not meant that way, and neither was it done in that way. It was clearly advertised multiple times, including a time when people came to my office and we had a big long meeting where people came and addressed some of the issues after which this committee was formed. So these were not handpicked people. With that said, Ms. Drake, you want to say a few words on this?
At this time, I'm going to sort of pass and let everybody else have their thoughts since I'm on the committee, and then I will tell you what I feel.
Okay, well then I'll go to Mr. Frierson.
Okay, well, thanks for the direction there. Appreciate that. You know, I don't know that I have any reason to say we should disallow any further billboards, to be quite honest. I don't know. I read something about collecting fees from Mr. Godwin in the paper, but you know, if the decision tonight is to continue to allow them or not, I mean, I would say that, you know, would be in favor of continuing to allow them.
Well, one thing to clarify there, we're not looking at having anyone to demolish the current billboards that are
Right.
out there. We obviously keep those.
Right.
One of the things you just mentioned was as far as a current thing, a lot of cities collect a annual fee for that. And part of what that would be look at doing a one-time annual fee, such as I think some cities get a lot more money that are, near the Metroplex, maybe $100 a year. And for that, we would go out and actually inspect it, make sure it's still structurally sound. If it's lit, make sure the electrical's still working properly. Basically do an overall inspection of that to make sure it's still functional, then have them repair items that need to be fixed or repaired and continue that for the next year. And that's one of the things as a possibility of moving forward of looking at another option.
That's all for me at this time, thanks.
All right, I'll take over and then I'll go back to Dr. Grosnicker. First of all, my suggestion would be that whatever the sign committee decides to do, I think that committee has been appointed to do that task, so I'm going to favor whatever their suggestions are. That's number one, because that's what the intention of the committee was. As far as charging for the signboards, I mean, even if you collect $100, we are not going to become a rich city by collecting $100 on 100 signboards. So if people are happier without paying that, I'd rather have happier people and not tax them again for having a signboard on it. If the council feels otherwise, well, I'll go along with that too. But I personally don't think we need to tax people more.
Another option Dr. Hochman talked about is just charging them an inspection fee yearly, which is fairly common as well.
We can discuss it and see. I'm again going to defer it to the committee to come up with their recommendation. If they feel strongly that it should be done, well, then I'll go along with them. But if they feel that no, most of the sign people don't want it, which they probably don't, but whatever the committee decides, I'll favor that. As far as the number of signboards are concerned, again, I do not personally have a problem if somebody wants to advertise something. I don't have any issues with it. But again, I think there should be some sort of an even distribution, because which may not be possible, but I mean, on one side of the loop, there are 50 signs, on the other side, it's completely empty. I don't think that's a very good idea.
Yeah, you have that.
Yes, and I saw that map, and that's why I'm saying it. That there should be some evenness through the loop, so that it doesn't look like that everybody is on one side and there's essentially no limit to the number of signs you can post in one area and completely empty on the other. But again, refer back to the committee to decide, and that's what my opinion is. Dr. Grosnicker.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why we would want to necessarily ban billboards. They're not that evil a thing. And these people have businesses. And as far as the fee, I don't, like you say, that might be, if we have 47 total billboards, $4,700 is not going to generate a lot of income. But, I mean, I guess I thought about it and I thought, well, do others charge a fee? Is there a reason for it? And I suppose it's kind of like the utilities. We charge utility companies a fee and to do business in the city of Paris, and they pay a tax of sorts. So I guess this, if we decided to do it, would be similar to that. But I'm not really in favor of changing anything or adding any more than the 3 additional billboards.
So what you're saying is not to put no more billboards?
Well, I think they said they already had a limit of 3 currently with the existing statute, I guess, and if they're happy with that, I'm happy with that.
Ms. Lancaster?
I feel like it probably needs to stay like it is.
Okay, so you are not favoring more billboards anywhere on the loop? I'm just trying to get it straight in my mind.
I'd like to see a little better distribution. They certainly seem to be mostly in one area. And I know that's where most of the businesses are, but maybe I'd like to not see quite so many right in that area.
Well, the reason being for that too is that section of roadway on the northeast loop is the most traveled roadway in the county.
I understand that, but there is a limit.
They call that exposure.
Yes. Mr. Frierson, can I go back to you for just a second?
Sure, I'll try to be better this time.
Yes. Can you make yourself a little clear? Are you in favor of having more billboards or not in favor?
you know.
Because Dr. Grossnickel is definitely
Right.
not in favor.
Right.
And so I'm going to go back to you for 1 second and ask you, yes for it or no for it? What is your suggestion?
Well, I'm kind of torn. I mean, I understand that, you know, more would be better. You got people wanting to advertise business, commerce, that sort of thing, but, you know, everybody's kind of hitting the nail on the head. If you actually want more, they're going to go in that northeast quadrant. They're not going to go south. I mean, so, as it stands today, nothing.
So do you want to put?
So I guess at this point, if that's where we're going, then I'd prefer to leave it as is.
Okay. Do you want to tax the ones on northeast and leave the ones on southeast?
We can do a formula based on traffic counts.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Lancaster, you want to add anything?
I don't think so.
Okay, so you're in favor of leaving it the way it is too?
I think so.
Okay. Mr. Jenkins?
I guess whatever the committee come up with, I guess.
Okay. Mr. Wright?
I would defer to the committee.
Okay. And I'll defer it to the committee, so.
Now I'll make a
Yes.
statement. This was the discussion we were having in the committee.
You could say this about 15 minutes.
And so we felt like we needed to bring it back to the council to get your feelings on it, because we had mixed emotions also, and we wanted the majority, we wanted the feelings of the council before we went forward on it, basically, is why we brought this to y'all tonight.
Well, why don't we send it back to you to rediscuss and bring it back?
So, Mr. Napier, we will just make a decision and we will do it, and
There
then
you
bring
go.
the whole thing back to the council.
I
Back in
think that
January.
will make it much easier for the council, because really the
Then we
people
can
who
try to
are.
amend it,
That's what we were avoiding, trying to avoid. Does that make sense?
All right, so if I have the general consensus, should we say that go back to the committee and let them decide and bring it back?
And it
Is
sounds
that
like
okay
most
with all?
of the people want it like
Mr.
the way it
Frierson?
is.
Yes.
Dr. Grossnickel? Ms. Lancaster? Mr. Jenkins? Mr. Wright? Okay,
And I
back
would-
to you.
And I would like to say, these people on this committee, minus me, have worked so hard, especially the city staff and Alex. I mean, just, you cannot imagine the number of hours that they have spent. And they are much more intelligent on these types of things than I will ever know, but I have learned more about electricity and amps and wattages, and I don't even know what the
Nits.
things are. Yeah, those things. Than I probably ever wanted to know, but they've worked tirelessly on this.
I'm an expert on GDP too now. All right, so back to the committee and bring it back on the agenda once they have come up with recommendations. Okay, item number 15, convene into executive session pursuant to section 551.071 of Texas Government Code, consultations with attorney to receive legal advice from city attorney about pending or contemplated litigation and or matters in which the duty of the attorney to his client under Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of State Bar of Texas clearly conflict with this chapter as follows. Update on claims filed by Richardson, Purdue, and Levitt, Boomer Trends Magazine Incorporated, and Kenneth Kramer versus City of Paris pursuant to section 551.072 of Texas Government Code to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of the real estate property. The time is 7:43 p.m. and we will be in executive session. I'm sorry? 6:43, sorry. The time is 7:15 p.m. and we are out of the executive session. The council was briefed by the city attorney on the possible situation with the two cases that have been mentioned in the executive session agenda. Item number 16. Well, I will reconvene in. Item number 17, consider and approve future events for the city council pursuant to resolution 2004-081. Anything? No.
So move.
Seconded by me, all in favor. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.